What if I told you the future of renewable energy might not be in the sun or wind, but in the atom? Yes, you heard it right, the atom. In our quest for clean, sustainable energy, we often overlook nuclear energy. It's time we shed light on this relatively unexplored territory. Nuclear energy, the energy in the core of an atom, has been a part of the renewable energy discourse for quite some time now. Often sidelined due to the vivid imagery of mushroom clouds and radiation leaks. But what if we could harness this immense power safely and efficiently? Could it be the answer to our ever-increasing energy needs? Let's pause for a moment and ponder on this. What are your initial thoughts on nuclear energy? Do you see it as a viable, renewable energy source, or is it just a ticking time bomb waiting to explode? Before we make any conclusions, let's delve deeper into the world of nuclear energy. To understand the economics of nuclear energy, we first need to grasp how it works. It's a fascinating process, really, and it all starts with a tiny particle, an atom. But not just any atom. We're talking about uranium, a heavy metal that's packed with energy. Here's the magic of it. When a neutron, a subatomic particle, strikes the nucleus of a uranium atom, it causes that nucleus to split. This process is called nuclear fission. The fission of a single uranium atom releases a significant amount of energy in the form of heat, but it also releases more neutrons, which can then cause other uranium atoms to split, creating a chain reaction. Now imagine this happening on a massive scale within a nuclear reactor. The heat generated by this chain reaction is used to produce steam from water, and this steam in turn drives a turbine connected to a generator producing electricity. So we've got this constant cycle of energy transformation from nuclear to thermal to mechanical and finally to electrical energy. And all this from a small chunk of uranium, which by the way is quite abundant on our planet. A little goes a long way, making nuclear power one of the most energy-dense forms of power generation we have. What's more, unlike fossil fuels, nuclear energy doesn't release harmful greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. That's a big advantage in our battle against climate change. But like any powerful tool, nuclear energy requires careful management. The chain reaction within the reactor must be controlled to prevent it from escalating into a nuclear meltdown. And then, there's the issue of radioactive waste, which remains hazardous for thousands of years and needs to be safely stored. Now that we understand the basics, we can start discussing the economics behind it. Economics is all about cost versus benefit. So what's the cost of nuclear energy? Building a nuclear power plant is a bit like buying a Rolls-Royce. It's a significant upfront investment. The cost includes the price of the land, the materials to construct the plant, and the labor to build it. Now, these materials aren't your everyday bricks and mortar. We're talking about high-grade steel, concrete, and a host of other specialized materials that can withstand the intense conditions inside a nuclear reactor. Then there's the labor. Constructing a nuclear power plant requires a team of highly skilled engineers, scientists, and construction workers, and their expertise doesn't come cheap. Once the plant is up and running, there are ongoing costs to consider. This includes routine maintenance, fuel costs, and the salaries of the employees who operate the plant. And let's not forget about the cost of storing and managing nuclear waste, which needs to be handled with extreme care due to its radioactive nature. So how does this compare to other energy sources? Well, when it comes to upfront costs, nuclear is one of the most expensive. It can be up to 3 times as expensive to build a nuclear power plant compared to a coal or gas-fired power plant. However, nuclear plants have a longer lifespan, typically around 60 years compared to 40 for coal or gas plants. This means that over time, the initial investment can be spread out and the cost per unit of energy produced can actually be lower. But the story doesn't end there. While nuclear energy has high upfront costs, its running costs are relatively low. This is because nuclear fuel is incredibly energy dense. A small amount can produce a huge amount of electricity, making it a cost-effective choice in the long run. So there you have it. The economics of nuclear energy is a complex equation of high initial investment balanced by long lifespan and low running costs. But it's not all about cost, there's also the benefit side of the equation. When we talk about benefits, we're not just talking about electricity generation, there's more to it than that. First and foremost, nuclear energy is incredibly efficient. A small amount of nuclear fuel can generate a massive amount of power. To put it into perspective, 1 pound of uranium can generate as much energy as about 3 million pounds of coal. This efficiency means that nuclear power plants don't need to be refueled as often. reducing operation costs and minimizing interruptions in power generation. Next, there's reliability. Unlike renewable energy sources such as wind and solar, which are dependent on weather conditions, nuclear energy can be produced consistently, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This makes it an excellent base load power source, providing a stable flow of energy that we can count on day and night. But perhaps one of the most significant benefits of nuclear energy is its low emissions. Nuclear power plants produce virtually no carbon dioxide or other greenhouse gases during operation. This makes nuclear energy a key player in the fight against climate change, offering a carbon-free alternative to fossil fuel-based power generation. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room: costs. Yes, the upfront capital cost for nuclear power plants can be high, but when we look at the long term, the picture starts to change. The high initial investment is spread over many years of operation, and the low fuel and operating costs make nuclear power economically competitive in the long run. Additionally, nuclear power plants create jobs and stimulate economic growth, not just during construction but also throughout their operation and even during decommissioning. They also contribute to energy security by reducing a country's dependence on imported fuels. So with all these benefits, it's clear that nuclear energy has a lot to offer. It's efficient, it's reliable, it's low emissions, and it can play a crucial role in our transition to a sustainable, low-carbon future. Weighing the costs and benefits, it seems nuclear energy can be a viable option, but can it be profitable? Profitability is the bottom line for any business. So, can a nuclear power plant turn a profit? Let's dive into the financials. The profitability of nuclear energy is influenced by a host of factors, some of which are demand, pricing, and government subsidies. Let's start with demand. The demand for energy is ever increasing due to population growth, urbanization, and technological advancements. And with the world looking for cleaner energy sources, nuclear energy is stepping up to the plate. The demand for nuclear energy is anticipated to grow, which could drive profits for nuclear power plants. Next, let's talk about pricing. The cost to produce nuclear energy has been on a downward trend, thanks to technological advancements and efficiency gains. This means that nuclear power plants can sell their energy at competitive prices, which could increase their profitability. But here's the kicker: government subsidies. Government subsidies can play a significant role in the profitability of nuclear energy. Governments around the world are providing financial support to nuclear power plants, recognizing the role they play in providing clean, reliable energy. These subsidies can significantly boost the profitability of nuclear power plants. However, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. The profitability of nuclear energy can also be affected by factors such as regulatory changes, unexpected costs related to safety and security, and the high initial investment required to build a nuclear power plant. But with careful planning and management, these challenges can be mitigated. In conclusion, the profitability of nuclear energy is not a simple yes or no answer. It's a complex equation that takes into account a variety of factors. But the potential for profit is certainly there. And with the right conditions, nuclear power plants can indeed turn a profit. It seems nuclear energy can be profitable, but there's more to consider. Like any business venture, nuclear power comes with its own set of risks and challenges. Let's delve into these challenges, starting with safety concerns. Safety is a paramount concern when it comes to nuclear energy. Nuclear power plants are designed with multiple safety systems, but the possibility of a catastrophic event, while extremely rare, is not zero. The Chernobyl and Fukushima disasters serve as stark reminders of the potentially devastating impacts of nuclear accidents. Next, we have the issue of waste disposal. Nuclear power produces long-lived radioactive waste, a byproduct that remains hazardous for thousands of years. The disposal of this waste is a significant challenge. Options include deep geological repositories, but these come with their own set of concerns, such as potential leakage and the long-term stability of the storage sites. Then there's the challenge of public perception. Many people associate nuclear power with nuclear weapons and nuclear accidents. This negative perception can hinder the development of nuclear energy. Public acceptance is crucial for the expansion of nuclear power, but gaining this acceptance can be an uphill battle. Moreover, nuclear power projects require substantial upfront capital investment, making them financially risky. The construction of nuclear power plants is often plagued by delays and cost overruns, and once operational, plants must compete with other forms of energy on the market. Finally, there's the risk of nuclear proliferation. While civilian nuclear energy programs are not directly linked to nuclear weapons programs, the technology and materials used in nuclear power can, in theory, be repurposed for weapons production. This risk, although managed by international treaties and oversight, remains a significant concern. These challenges can make or break the profitability of nuclear energy. So, where does that leave us? The answer isn't straightforward. It's a delicate balance between the potential benefits and the inherent risks. It's a question of how we manage those risks, how we leverage the benefits, and ultimately, how we shape the future of our energy landscape. Given all we've discussed, what does the future hold for nuclear energy? The future of nuclear energy is a broad canvas, teeming with potential, brimming with challenges, and filled with an air of anticipation. As we move towards a more sustainable future, nuclear energy stands at the crossroads of technological advancement and policy changes. Firstly, the role of technology cannot be overstated. Recent developments in nuclear technology, like small modular reactors, are revolutionizing the field. These reactors are not just more efficient and safer, but also more cost-effective, addressing some of the main criticisms of nuclear energy. With further advancements, the promise of fusion power, a virtually unlimited and clean source of energy, is no longer a distant dream, but a potential reality within our grasp. But technology alone is not enough. The future of nuclear energy is also tied to the policies that govern its use. An encouraging trend is the growing recognition of nuclear energy as a part of the solution to climate change. Countries around the globe are reevaluating their energy policies, with some, like the United States and France, reaffirming their commitment to nuclear power. Yet profitability remains a key concern. While the startup costs for nuclear power plants are high, their long-term operation costs are relatively low. The question is, can the initial investment be reduced without compromising safety and efficiency? The answer lies in the combination of technological innovation, economies of scale, and supportive policy frameworks. Moreover, there's the question of public perception. The memory of nuclear accidents like Chernobyl and Fukushima is still fresh in people's minds. However, with increased transparency, better safety measures, and public education, the tide of public opinion can be turned. In conclusion, the future of nuclear energy is not set in stone. It's a dynamic field shaped by technology, policy, economics, and public opinion. It's a challenging journey, but one that holds the promise of a cleaner, more sustainable future. Only time will tell whether nuclear energy can truly become a key player in the renewable energy sector. We've covered a lot of ground today. Let's quickly recap. We started our journey by questioning the viability of nuclear energy as a renewable source. We learned that nuclear energy is a powerhouse capable of supplying a significant portion of our global energy needs. It's a technology that harnesses the energy trapped within atomic nuclei, a process that's not only efficient but also produces zero greenhouse gases. Moving on, we delved into the economics of nuclear energy, a topic that's as fascinating as it is complex. The initial investment may be high, but the long-term returns make it a compelling proposition. We learned that the cost of nuclear energy is comprised of a myriad of factors, from construction and operation to waste disposal and decommissioning. Despite these costs, nuclear energy can be economically competitive, especially when we consider the social cost of carbon. Next, we explored the potential profitability of nuclear energy. We discussed how the profitability of nuclear power plants is dictated by several factors, including the cost of capital, the price of electricity, and government policies. We learned that while profitable, the financial success of nuclear energy is not guaranteed and depends heavily on these variables. Then, we tackled the risks and challenges associated with nuclear energy. We acknowledged the concerns surrounding nuclear waste, safety, and the potential for misuse. But we also recognized that these risks can be mitigated through stringent regulations, advanced technology, and international cooperation. Finally, we looked to the future of nuclear energy. We envisioned a world where nuclear energy, bolstered by advancements in technology and policy, plays a central role in our energy mix. We imagined a world where nuclear energy helps us combat climate change while powering our homes, cities, and industries. In conclusion, we've unraveled the complexities of nuclear energy, its economics, its potential profitability, and its future. Whether nuclear energy is the future of renewable energy remains to be seen, but one thing's for sure, it's an option worth considering.